So we've done our first wing and our single crochet in the middle. Now, because we do want to have 14 stitches across, even though we're counting this as kind of like a middle opening, we do actually need to do a second single crochet in this so that we're not decreasing in our stitch count. And then we're going to do our second wing, chain 1, 2, and 3. We're going to skip 3 and then single or double crochet, excuse me, into the next 3 stitches. And this one's always a teeny bit hard. You just got to hold it down carefully. There we go. Okay. So just to kind of explain one more time why we had to do that too. Remember, we do want to have 14 stitches across. The first couple rows were a lot easier to see. In our last row, we had 3 on either side and 3 skipped with our chain. So each of these sides have 6 total, right? So that's 12. In order to have 14, we do need to put 2 single crochets in the middle. Otherwise, it's going to shrink a little bit. Okay, we're going to chain up 2 to do our next row. And then for this next row, remember, we want to have the wings a little bit taller on top, so we're going to be skipping 4 stitches. So instead of doing 3, we're only going to be doing 2 double crochets before we begin to skip stitches. So we're going to do double crochet number 1, okay, double crochet number 2, and then we are going to begin skipping stitches. So we're going to skip 3 and 1 makes 4. So we're going to chain up 4. Okay, and we're going to be single crocheting right on the kind of right middle stitch that we did before. Okay, so single crochet there, then chain 4. Oh, excuse me. I gotta redo that. I'm so sorry. This part is the hardest part for my brain to remember because I'm so used to just having a nice middle. So after we attach that first wing with that single crochet into the center, we do need to also do a second single crochet. Otherwise we're dropping a stitch. And then we're gonna do our chain 4. Thankfully there's only 4 of these, so if you have trouble remembering how to compensate with the even number of stitches, you only have to do 4 of these total. And then we're going to skip 1 and double crochet into those 2 stitches that are remaining. 1 and 2. Phew, there we go. And then we're going to chain up 2. 1 and 2. We're gonna do 2 double crochets into the tops of those stitches. I'm gonna pause here. So this is our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is our 6th row, so we only have this and 1 more row. Remember, this is the row where we're gonna start filling in above the wings to go back to the looks of the bottom. Okay, so the top wing is skipped 4 stitches, so we're gonna do 4 double crochets where we yarn over and then go underneath that chain, pull through, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. I'll show you that a couple more times. So yarn over, underneath the chain, grab the yarn, pull it through, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through 2, 2, yarn over and pull through 2. So that's 2. We're going to do 2 more because we are trying to build back those skip stitches. So we want 4 total, representing the 4 stitches we skipped. And at this point, if you want to try and like kind of pull them a little and spread them out, it's really easy to. Okay. And then at this point, this is normally when we do the 1 treble crochet into the middle. We're actually going to do 2 treble crochets, 1 for each of the double, or 1 for each of the center stitches. So to do a treble crochet, a double is normally yarn over once. We're going to yarn over twice. We're going to go into the right center stitch. We're going to grab the yarn, pull it through. We're going to have 4 loops on the hook. We're going to yarn over and pull through 2. 1, 2, and missed a little bit there, and 3 times. That's why it's called a treble. You can see it's a little bit taller than the doubles. It's used here just because we have single crochets down here, so it's going to be a little bit shorter in the center than on the edges. Okay, and we're going to do one more treble for the left center. So yarn over twice, go into the top of that leftmost stitch, grab the yarn, pull through. You should have 4 loops on your hook. We're going to yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and third time yarn over and pull through 2. Okay, so we've finished off our middle. We're going to do the left wing. So we're going to do 4 double crochets around that chain. Okay, so we're going to do double crochet, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets, 3 double crochets, and 4 double crochets. Okay, and then at this point we've got 2 stitches remaining, so I'm going to double crochet in the top of those 2 stitches. Got a little bit tangled there. Here's our top of our stitch. You can see the 2 pieces of yarn, 2 loops of thread. I'm going to do my double and my second double. Okay, phew. So we've done our end of our row. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 total rows. We have 1 more for lucky number 7. We're going to chain up 2 and turn our work. And then for our 7th row, we're just going to double crochet across. You should have 14 total stitches. Okay. If you find that you only have 13, the issue is probably coming from what you saw me have to adjust at one point in the video. Remember, for our even number, because we want to try and create a center every time along the way, we were doing 2 single crochets into the middle. So if you are 1 stitch short, it's probably because one of those rows. So if you need to go back, you can just, you know, pull your yarn and it'll undo itself for you. But that is the trickiest thing to remember about this pattern, is to make sure to do the 2 stitches in the middle. And it's because it's different from the rectangular pattern. And sometimes we just, you know, forget if we're thinking of a middle as just a single stitch. Okay, just about there. That a little funny. Gotta go back in one more time. There we go. Okay, so that is officially the end of our 14th row. Okay, so it is a square, but it does kind of pull a little funny, just because of how tight these edges are, only having a couple stitches. You'll see that when you put a little white border or whatever color border you want around it, it does kind of straighten it out a little bit. These edges are always a little bit unstraight, right? It's just kind of how the crochet work always looks on the edge. That's why I always do recommend doing a little bit of a border around a project. So to finish off, we've just had our last stitch. We're going to yarn over and pull through. I'm going to snip and leave a little tiny tail. And you're going to just pull that through. You'll see if I zoom in here, it'll just tighten. If you want to do like a knot, you can also just do a knot as well if you're like wanting a little bit more security, to make sure it doesn't get pulled out. So you can also just do a little knot. And then for the border, what I typically do is when I'm doing this little white border, I actually do my stitches on top of these tails, so it'll just kind of get hidden nicely. So as you're doing the white border stitches, it'll just get covered up. Okay, so if you want to do that white border stitch around it. I would recommend, I made a video where I did the border for the rectangle. It's pretty much the same thing as the square. You're gonna have 14 stitches on the top, 14 on the bottom, and you're gonna wanna try and get about 14 on each edge. The edges are always a little bit trickier to get your stitches in, but go ahead and watch the video where I show making this border. Same thing, just different number of stitches. You've got a square, so all 14 all around. So thanks so much for watching.